So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Oh, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I want more fantasy recap videos, bub. Ladies and gents, week 3 of the Tyrod Taylor Cover Band League has come and gone, and man, we've had some eventful stuff happening in this week. Much like the real life actual NFL, we had a comeback victory, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We are doing a guest for the first time, and it is Landin, whose idea this whole thing was. Say hi, Landin.
How's it going, guys? Happy to be here. So excited to get in on this.
That's what I like to hear. Should we just go match by match, or how
I
are you?
think so.
How are you feeling about yours? Let's start with your match. How are you feeling about your match this week?
Coming in, I felt really good. I mean, I think it was 50-50 between me and Richard, and our teams are pretty similar. But I mean, there's got to be some changes around the league, and as a team owner, you never want to see your team fail. So we're gonna do what's necessary to get back on track. That's about as much as I have to say because the boys are letting me down.
Yeah, no, yeah. I have it on screen right now. Just looking at your, 3 of your main players are Alvin Kamara, CeeDee Lamb, and Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors got you 3.3. CeeDee Lamb was hurt, so he got you a goose egg. And then Alvin Kamara, out of the 3 of them, was the most productive, but he only got you 6.6. And on top of that, when Kenneth Walker III is your running back, and out of your wide receivers and flex role people, he's the one getting your main points. Well, I guess A.J. Brown. That's a rough start, but you just look down and you see way too many single digits and not enough 40 bombs to make up for it. Like the killer Kowalski's had. I wouldn't say towards the end, and we'll go into that in a little bit. I don't think they made up for it, but he had so many people score so many points that it didn't matter what the rest of his people did. Yours just simply didn't carry their weight.
Correct. And it sucks too because if we look back at, I know you had mentioned this in the past 2 recaps, I think A.J. Brown's been just horrendous to start the season. I mean, the Eagles played the Chiefs, and that game was not like a thriller. He didn't do good in the opener. And then now he does decent because they got behind, so they were throwing the ball a lot. And then I feel like his performance is just wasted because obviously the rest of the guy, I mean, he had a decent performance. I mean, he made up for, the last 2 weeks, but the rest of the guys just kind of let him down. It kind of is unfortunate too,
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, Kenneth Walker's been putting up good numbers. Any quarterback, I think, with the new rule change, any quarterback I think is pretty decent. So Jared Goff is fine since Joe Burrow went down. But yeah, I mean, I think we'll bounce back. I think it was just these first 3 weeks of fantasy have been weird. I don't know if you feel that same way, but
I do. And yeah, I hope it doesn't go the same way as last year, because last year definitely was not a good year for me. But it definitely feels like it's one of those years for me personally, and maybe for you, where everybody does consistent, and when somebody finally goes off, none of the rest of my team pulls their weight. And obviously, last week I really laid into my team because I was the one that made the stupid decisions and everything like that. So I only have myself to blame for that, and I will go into that again this week. But it's kind of like whenever it comes to fantasy points, you want it to be a straight line, and it's been very wavy, if that makes sense. Like up and down, up and down.
I think this season, especially this week for sure, injuries have been crazy, just taking people out left and right. So I think that's also a contributor. The deeper we get in the season, I know injuries happen and stuff, but yeah, these first 3 weeks I feel like have just been crazy for just the real life players and what they're going through. So definitely makes our lives as fantasy players a lot harder. But yeah, I know exactly what you're feeling about about last year and this year too, because I think don't quote me, but I think I was like 1-2 or going into last year too. So, or maybe I was 0-3.
Yeah,
it's been pretty similar.
It wasn't until like week 7 or week 8 that you got your first victory last year. But we also were able to blame that on auto draft because you.
True. Yeah. Unfortunately,
I don't know if you missed the. Did you miss the whole draft or just the first
No, just like the first 3 rounds, I think.
But still, those are the ones that set the tone of your team, so you had that to fall back on. This one, you selected a good team. Like, I look at your team, and I'm like, it's pretty good. And then they're just not coming to bat. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, none of Richard's players like came out and just absolutely destroyed, other than maybe Gibbs. Like Dak Prescott had 21, which for QB in this league is but like you go down the list, and whenever all your guys are scoring about 10-15 points, you don't need anything else. If you have consistency, then you're gonna go towards that dub. Because all it takes is one goose egg to ruin the dynamic of your team. Because that's how I felt too. I was really banking on, in my match, and we'll get into that in a little bit, with Deebo Samuel. And I was really expecting him to put up at least 10, 12 points or so. And he just, they didn't throw to him. That's the beauty of fantasy, is at the end of the day, we can do whatever we want, but if you listen to all these podcasts, if you listen to all these people who are the experts, they're constantly changing their minds, and there's no real good way to predict it other than like this top 10 most consistent players in the league. Like Lamar Jackson, he's going to get you high points. Allen is going to get you a ton of points. But like for the rest of them, it's just whatever.
Kind of like a coin flip, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you would never suspect that, even just for just real life performance, that Daniel Jones would be a top 10 quarterback coming in. But I mean, he's been playing lights out. So it's kind of a
on that same note. Flip. Do you have any more comments on Richard's team? Because we talked more about your team. I will say that he kind of had a similar situation this year that you did, where he completely missed a big crucial portion of the first part of the draft and came in like at round 6 or 7. And he's dropped a couple people and he's picked up a couple people. I think he did a great job of salvaging. To be fair, me and him talked about this. Auto draft didn't completely screw him over like it will do some people, because auto draft will be like, oh, this guy's out until November, I'm gonna take him for you. Whereas he kind of got lucky and got a bunch of good guys going into it. But here, let me shut up. Let me let you talk about his team a little bit.
Auto draft is a giveth and it taketh away. Like, so I fell victim to it before, obviously, like we said. But his team is, when I look at his team, so he's 1-2, but his team is sneaky. When I like, that's just the first word that comes to mind, sneaky.
That's fair to say.
You know that Jameer is going to get, probably over 10. He's probably going to score a touchdown, him or Montgomery, and I think they both scored last night. Rome Odunze has been amazing. Him and Caleb seem to be finally clicking a little bit. So I feel like he was like one of the steals of the draft. I don't know where he got him. I would have to go back and look. Drafted 92nd. So, I mean, that's to pick up that, and he's number 3 wide receiver so far. That's just crazy. And then Jackson Smith-Njigba has just been playing lights out. So, I mean, his team almost looks unstoppable. And so I feel like his record does not do him justice. But yeah, 140 on my head that's kind of just indicative, I feel like, of what his team is capable of. If he was kind of wavering in his team's faith, I think that this is a good indicator of what they can do for him.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is Richard, I think in our league, is the most experienced fantasy player, I want to say. Mainly because whenever I worked at Hope, him and me would talk about fantasy, and he would be like, yeah, I've been in the same league for 20 years. So he's got at least 20 years of experience. He's been doing this for a long time. And so if he has a bad draft, he kind of knows how to bounce back from it. And this is coming from a guy who was 11-0 last year at one point. I don't know. He went undefeated for a long time, and it was almost like a weekly thing where we were like, who's going to finally take him down? And we were like, a couple of us were conspiring to trade players back and forth to try and to get that one next to his record. But he's very good. And I think you have the top 3 like scary teams in the league, where if you're playing them, you're like clenched butt cheeks the whole time. And that's Pardon Me, Killer Kowalski, and LaMarvelous Chase. Those are the 3 teams where you really don't want to go against them. I think Punishment Inc., Richard, you could easily throw him in there with them because of how clever he is. Like, I almost didn't want to put out my episode where I was like, it's too early to be playing matchups, because every time I've seen him play matchups, he's done it very well. And so I was like, I don't want I'll just talk about what an idiot I am because he's a freaking football genius.
Yep, and I mean that just comes with experience. So
the 20-year vet,
knowing your matchups. Yeah,
right?
Longer than I've been alive. Okay, buddy.
But let's continue on. I'm gonna just click the next one on the line, and it's Kunite with Chain and the Cleveland Chubs. Brandon having a little bit of bad luck with Saquon Barkley early on. You have any speculation as to why that might be? No, actually no, because he got 18 points in his first game, 17 points in his second game. He just didn't come to play this game. And if he would have shown up, got what he was speculated, maybe have one of those 20-point games, we might be talking about a different result.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that I feel like Saquon is one of those players, you know, I don't want to say that the Rams or that the Eagles follow a script, but I mean, when they got down so greatly, so quickly in this game, it almost was like, okay, well, unless he's getting work in the passing game, I mean, he's not going to be as viable. I mean, he can break off a 70-yard run at any time, let's be honest. But when they're down by, I don't know, was it 20 points, I think, at some point in the game? Like,
yeah, it was definitely come behind victory.
Yeah, you're going to have to air it out. I think it was like their biggest comeback since 2018, 2017, something crazy.
Yes,
so, and he's a player that he's gonna get you points, and I feel like he's one of those, boomer busts. It's either he's getting 20, 30, 40 points, or he's getting 10.
Right.
And even 10 is still, I mean, we saw what happened in my team. Even 10 is good, but I think Brandon's gonna bounce back. He has another team that I would say is really actually sneaky good. Once some of these players, I think, come alive, he's gonna see some good results, I think.
Yeah, plus a couple of his players just fell against some tough matchups. Whenever you think of elite defenses, nobody really talks about the Texans, but they have a really good defense. Brian Thomas Jr. got locked up pretty much the whole game, and so if he had a different matchup, he's probably busting out for 15 points or something like that. Chase Brown hasn't really come alive for him, and I've been talking about, I think Joe Burrow was the heart and soul of the Cincinnati Bengals, and whenever he got injured, the offense just kind of died and then got picked apart by the Minnesota defense. So he didn't have the most favorable matchups all the way around. His team was carried by Daniel Jones, one of the top 10 quarterbacks of the league now, Nico Collins, and then Javonte Williams put over 10 points, which obviously wasn't playing up to his projection, but still one of the better scores on his team. Again, it's much like your matchup where your players just decide not necessarily not to show up, but were stopped or didn't play to the circumstance. Because Saquon Barkley in the first 2 weeks gets 18, 17 points, and a running back being able to do that every single week is a special thing, and Saquon's one of those people that does it. But like you said, the circumstance of the situation, it wasn't even necessarily like, oh, the Rams, you should have known better, because he was the number 1 overall pick in the league, and if Brandon hadn't selected him, I was coming for him the next. So it's not that he chose a bad player, it's that the player just had a bad week, or for fantasy a bad week. I wouldn't even say his actual game was bad.
I don't think. I mean, going back and looking at his stats, it's not terrible.
Well, maybe 2.6. You want to see a little bit higher than that on the average per run, but still. Yeah,
I mean, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why I think this fantasy season is just so hard, because you don't expect the Bears defense to come out and just have a dominant game. I mean, Javonte Williams. I mean, if we go back and look, 20 in his first game against the Eagles of all people, and then the Giants, he scored 25, and then for the Chicago, him to only get 12. I mean, that sounds crazy to say only 12. That's pretty decent, but it's just it's hard to predict. I feel like this season, any team is just so good on any given week. And Saquon's obviously not a bad player. I mean, we saw what he did last season, just almost breaking records and just running all over everybody. And it's not that he's a bad player, and it's definitely not the C-Mac treatment like last year where he's injured or anything like that. So I even a little behind the scenes. We were messaging back and forth today about a possible trade, and I think he mentioned Saquon or something about Saquon and how obviously he's off limits, and it's a no-brainer. You drafted the guy with the 1-1 because you want 1-1 numbers. So I think they're coming for Saquon.
Yeah, no, it's that, and that's I put high value on Josh Jacobs, and if you had looked at his score And here, I'll just talk about trade talk here for a little bit. I'm not going to say what I offered you or what I offered anybody.
Sure.
But one, I like how we're in a league where everybody kind of is... I've been in leagues before, especially like in a warehouse or a church-like setting, where you see those people on an everyday basis, and maybe that's why it's not like it in this league. But like, somebody will offer you a trade, and it's not what you're looking for, and because it's not what you're looking for, you almost get offended by it.
Mm-hmm. Right,
I feel like we all do a very good job of not taking it to that level. Like, I offer you a wide receiver for a running back, and the running back might be a little bit better, but you are low on the wide receiver depth or something like that.
Exactly.
If there's stuff to consider in that situation, I think we do a good job of not taking it personally. Because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to win. And I think Brandon's team, you can tell that when he was drafting it, he was playing to win. And it just hasn't panned out that way. It's very easy for people to get into a mindset to start overreacting. For example, let's go to the Cleveland Chubs for a second. Ashton Genty, I just watched a YouTube video today of how he is the most traded player in fantasy leagues this year because of how he's not panning out, which he's a rookie, so that's a risk you do, especially since a lot of people are putting him in the first round, picking him as their first pick of the draft. And he's just simply not panning out because he's a rookie and he's playing against some heavy defenses already.
Right.
And then they're talking about his schedule and everything and how it's a gamble. But Ashton Genty's a very talented player, so don't give up on him just because he's had a rough start. We're only 3 games in. But on the same note, I like what you're doing, how you messaged the league today, and you noticed some things about your team. You're in damage control, and that's the beauty of fantasy. Like, I'm kind of all over the place right now, but that's the cool thing about fantasy is you just kind of do the best you can.
Exactly.
And other players are playing for you. It's essentially like sports betting with, well, I guess we're playing for money, so it is sports betting.
Throw it in there. Just let them know.
We're gambling.
High stakes, I might add.
High stakes.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars.
Oh my goodness. My emotional state would rest on this league if it was thousands of dollars.
Like every waking day people talk to me and my hands are just shaking and they don't know. They don't know the stress that I'm under.
That's kind of funny because I was literally sitting in class today and I was just looking at, actually when I sent the message today in our chat, about my team, I was actually sitting in like a lecture hall, just not paying attention at all, which is terrible. Sorry. But I'm just like, I got to get this back on track. I can't have the guys think that I can't compete.
Right.
Two bad years, man. I have a reputation to uphold. So I think it's funny. We're all playing our own game, but it's hard to explain. It's just a good feeling.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
It is. It's very fun, and that's what I was thinking about today. I was like, this is unlike any league I've ever had, and there is one day where I want to add people in, and I'll just say that right now to all the people in the league who might be listening. I'm very choosy about who we're going to accept into the league for some of the reasons I've already mentioned. But there is a day where we're going to expand. But I guess we'll just. Do you have any final thoughts on the Cleveland Chubs and their performance? Because I'm gonna shoot it over to my game after this.
Yeah, just solid. I mean, James Cook, he's going to get you points. He's such a solid running back. Puka, dominant. Just all around good. I mean, Genty, yeah, I know the thing about the trades and everything. If it's me, I'm just giving it time. But his O-line does look rough, so I can see why he's traded. But he got the dub regardless this week, so he's doing something right. He has the pieces in place to make up for anything that Genty leaves on the table. So
right. And Travis, if you're listening to this, I'm not really hardcore interested in Ashton Genty, but if you want to trade, I will trade you Travis Hunter for him. I'll take that risk. I think I would be winning that trade, just full disclosure, but I don't know. I just throw that out there just because I want
put on the hot seat.
Yeah, put him on the hot seat. All right, let's flash over to my game for a second.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to just declare that I don't remember what I was originally talking about. So I think that we'll just go into the recap for this game. And obviously, I'll be a little bit biased because it's my team. But I just want to say that this right here and what it came down to. Oh, and I remember what I was talking about now.
Boom.
I think this is the most excited I've ever been for the end of a match in years. And before this league was even created. Like, I remember we had a league in the warehouse I used to work at before I moved from Missouri. And I had a game that came down to, like, Kareem Hunt or somebody like that. And it was one of those ones where it was like, I just need 20 points to win, and he got like 22, and it was like a fantastic feeling. Well, I go into this one with the opposite feeling, and normally, whenever you go into a Monday night game, if I actually have someone playing, because the majority of the time I don't, if I do have someone playing, the game's already been decided, and it's one of those matches where it's like, your guy will have to score the most points he's ever scored in fantasy ever. So this is one where I legitimately looked at it. LaMarvelous Chase was projected to win, but I was like, he's playing Detroit, like Lamar Jackson's playing Detroit. That's the guy who it came down to. So there's a chance he could be held to like 25 points, and then I would need their kicker to score like 5-6 points as well, just to kind of negate it, because I was up by like 32-33 or something like that at the moment. And so, like, I was watching the game, looking at the scores. I'm like, oh, it's close. It's close. And so that's why I'm enjoying this fantasy league. Like, obviously, the thing that's made it for me hasn't been winning, because I haven't been doing too much of that. It's been the recap videos and trying to get everybody as involved as possible. But this was the first time that I was really hardcore invested in a game, and I was like, I need it. Inject it into my veins. Because I think more than anything, because if I look down at my score, obviously the big criticism is if I had played Jalen Hurts, it would have been a no-brainer. I would have won the match. Mm-hmm. But I desperately wanted it, since it's the Tyrod Taylor cover band league. This is probably the only match he's going to play this year, because Justin Fields seems like he's progressing well. And I wanted a win with Tyrod Taylor. So that's the easy criticism. But if I had done that, if we had held the points, it would have been such a feel-good moment. But it is on theme, because I saw a post on Twitter that said there have been 7 NFL games on Sunday featuring a game-winning score in the final 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. One of them being the Browns kicking the field goal against the Packers, the Steelers scoring against the Patriots, the Eagles overcame the Rams, the Jets scored to take the lead only to get a game-winning field goal kicked against them, the Jaguars scored against the Texans, the Chargers against the Broncos, and then the 49ers versus the Cardinals. So it made sense that James was going to come back, because that is what the script for the NFL was, and that is what the script for this league is, because I control all. See that league manager tools button up there? You can't, but I can, and so can the viewers at home. But I've speculated on this over the past week, so I want to hear what your thoughts on the match are.
Yeah, so going in, I knew you were up. I did not realize by how much you were up. Oh, man, those losses are heartbreaking. This is a game I feel like, I know it's so early in the season, and I don't want to say that it's like it's a defining game, but it is. I mean, when you, maybe not for you, because I know you have a very positive outlook, especially because you're enjoying the league extremely, as am I. But to lose in such fashion, kind of like a heartbreak, as you mentioned. And, be in that 1 and 2, and now I looked today at the standings, and we have a massive roadblock again.
Right.
It's just so, if you win this, you are kind of ahead of the pack, and you were also playing someone who, if you would have won, you would have, bumped that spot, and it would have been in the roadblock and not you. Yeah. And your team came to play. And you know what? I'm not mad at you for playing Tyrod Taylor in the slightest. You lived on the hill and you died by the hill, and I'm not mad at it, because he actually, I'm pretty sure, did better than Jared Goff, who I started. So right. I don't hate you for it. And his game was actually close.
I tell you
made
what,
it interesting.
Though, whenever we were talking about it offline the other day when we were doing the test, and I was gushing about Tyrod Taylor, and we went into the half and he had 2.8 points. I was like, ooh, I can't ever talk positive about this man again, because no one will believe me. But No, he definitely came to play and everything like that. It ended up being a very good game. So I was, like I said, I was just pleased with the overall thing. I was glad to be able to feel the way I felt and enjoy a fantasy game rather than just having another, like, I don't want to say soulless victory, but there have been ones where I'm a victory and it's like, okay, on to the next one. This is one that I can soak in, enjoy it. We all were talking in the chat. And to me, that's what the fantasy is overall all about. It's not ultimately, obviously we all want to win the money, that's nice, but it's about experiencing it, it's about the camaraderie, and then rooting for some of your favorite players. And I knew it was a chance because even though I was leading by like 34 points coming into the week, the league had me at 95% chance of losing going into the final game, or 98 or something like that, because Lamar Jackson's projections are always around the 30s. And he scored 36 points in his first week, 36 points in the second week, and he's just consistent. There's a reason why he's a multiple-time MVP. He scored 37 points to seal the deal against me. So I can't even be mad at that, because they were already saying I was going to lose. So the fact that we made it that close just tickles me. It absolutely tickles me. And truthfully, the villain of the league is Deebo Samuel for only putting up 4.9.
Yeah, I know when you're going to ask, what my other initial thoughts on the match were. I was going to say Deebo. I actually, before this game, I actually had started the damage control a little bit early, and I was looking at some trade packages, and I was actually thinking of trying to trade for Deebo just because of how, good he's looked. And maybe it's because Jaden Daniels has been hurt, or he was hurt for this particular game.
Right.
But I don't know. It's so hit or miss, one of those guys. But yeah, definitely the villain of your story in this one, I feel like.
Or you know who also could be the villain? Freaking Tucker Kraft. I had a whole piece last week about how I was stupid for not playing him because he scored 25.4 points. And then I play him this week and he only gets 5.9 and loses to that's the thing. Everybody's offended that they lost to the Browns. I think the Browns have a good defense. Not that freaking good.
Not point good. I don't know.
It's like, Tucker Kraft, you really couldn't have caught one more 20-yard pass or something like that, and I guess that wouldn't have made it. Either way, that's the big thing. I was like, that makes me feel justified in not playing him during that week where I made some stupid decisions.
Yeah, exactly. One bad week, and you hit the bench, buddy.
Yeah, it's all over for me.
Yeah, unless you're like me and just play Alvin Kamara just week in and week out as he puts up 4 or 5 points.
And then the moment you put him on the bench, he's gonna drop 40.
Yeah, it's just like that one season or that one game last year. I think it was like week 2. He just had 50 points, and then that was it.
He did. Actually, I'm a nerd, and I went on. I have a Google Doc where I literally have all of the stats typed up for our fantasy league from last year, so I can keep records and stuff like that.
That's glorious.
And I went through, and just for me, I didn't do it for everybody, but just for me, I wanted to figure out who my MVP of my team was last year. And it honestly was between Josh Jacobs and Alvin Kamara, because Alvin Kamara won me 2 or 3 games with putting it out of reach early with 30-point games, 40-point games. The only reason why it went to Josh Jacobs was because he was injured and missed the playoffs. He was injured and missed a couple of games where I lost by 10 points, and I would have won if he had come in and put on a good performance. So it's I don't know. One, that should show you how big of a nerd I am. 2, I have a soft spot for Alvin Kamara, which is why I may or may not have included him in one of our trades.
Yeah, he's love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's all I have to say about Alvin.
Yeah, if you're wondering, right now for my current MVP, Bijan Robinson is the front runner, and Jonathan Taylor's right behind him.
Ooh,
because
interesting.
I'm probably saying too much and revealing how much of a geek I am, but if they score over 20 points, they get 2 points. If they drop an absolutely crazy game and have 30 or 40, they get 3 points. If they're the highest scorer for that week, they get an extra point. So the totals are Bijan Robinson has 5, Jonathan Taylor has 3, Josh Jacobs has 2. I put Tyrod Taylor on there just for the sake of it. He has 1. And both the Seahawks and Broncos defenses have 1 apiece.
Honestly, well, I like that you do that. I wish that was a feature in the app. That would be awesome. But the fact that the defenses have 1 apiece is kind of kind of interesting too.
Because I had the Seahawks this week that got 19 freaking points, and if you go back to my first week, the Denver Broncos dropped 20.
Yeah, man, you're okay. So you still are kind of doing the thing where you kind of play the matchups, not to an extreme degree. With the defenses, but
the Seahawks were playing the Saints, and the Saints suck.
Oh
so,
yeah,
I was like,
Spencer Rattler.
I got it, and I have 2 very solid defenses, so I was like, why not try and play that a little bit?
Sure. Smart. It's smart. Clearly, you're doing something right. Your bench is looking very rough, I will say.
Yeah, no, and it's mainly because Xavier Worthy's been hurt. Juwan Jennings has been hurt. Justin Fields obviously has a concussion. It seems like he's doing okay, so I'm thankful for that. Obviously, the caveat is Tyrod Taylor's not going to play anymore, but I'd rather Justin Fields be able to play during the prime years of his career than have my boyhood dreams fulfilled. And then Travis Hunter, I can't be too mad about it because he's literally both a defender and a wide receiver. So, he's not the main target for the Jaguars' offense.
I believe, didn't he take more snaps on defense this week than offense? I believe.
Yes.
Could be wrong.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. So.
That's what I'm saying. I as much as I threw out the Genty trade thing, I don't want to drop him or anything like that because there's a chance he might go off.
He's just a polarizing guy. I mean, his time is coming at some point. Kind of like Genty, I feel like their time is coming. They're rookies. They'll get it figured out. Right. I think so. Yeah, yep. And I would hate that for you if you were to trade him away and then he just decides to go absolutely nuclear.
It's like puts up multiple 20-point weeks in a row.
And I can see it too. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, so I'm not too worried about the bench. George Kittle's hurt, so that'll help when he comes back. And then I have, like you said earlier, injury problems. Of my bench players, 3 of them are hurt. So
insane. I will scroll down and I just see all the red on your team. It's insane.
Yeah.
Poor George, man. He deserves better. It's his body, man. It's just letting him him down.
Yeah, he's freaking more consistent than Tucker Kraft, so he needs to hurry up and get back. I'm greedy. I don't care about their health.
You will put on for my fantasy.
Right. Be one of those guys that messages him on Twitter. On that side note, though, let's give a little bit of love to LaMarvelous Chase's team, because I feel like because I'm the commissioner of the league, we're kind of treating my team like I'm the main character. I'm not the main character. Let's talk about the winner a little bit.
Let's get into it.
Tyreek Hill, for one, went over his projections against Buffalo, which could go either way. Buffalo hasn't really been a top defense this year or anything like that, but I wasn't expecting them to just have shootouts with every single people they play. Opening up, that was the first score of LaMarvelous Chase, and it felt like it set the tone. The only person, ironically, that really didn't play anywhere near the projections was Jamar Chase, which we know how that game went. Consistent across the board, had Lamar Jackson, who was his top scorer, unfortunately, going into the final game. And then I remember because I was watching the late Sunday, I was watching the Arizona Cardinals game, and I was like, don't throw to Trey McBride. Don't throw to Trey McBride. And a wide open pass to Trey McBride. Crap. Just like.
So consistent.
Ripping up my gambling slips. Just like, it's all over.
The dream's crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trey McBride is. Dude, I keep saying the word sneaky, but man, it's so true. I had him, I think, last year in a separate league, and it's either exactly what we see here, 15, or it's 2, 3. I don't know. Maybe that's Kyler doing that because he's more inconsistent. But man, it seems like he's solid points most weeks, and then you'll have like your one down week. But yeah, man, this is a good all around game by both teams, and James just happened to edge you out here, and you can't fault him. I mean, he did have his slip ups. Jacoby only with the 9, Jamar with the 8, which is probably the biggest upset for his team. But you can't complain when Lamar puts up basically 40.
Right. Yep. No, then that, and possibly the most overlooked player in fantasy, because he always puts out, but only like certain podcasters are like, make sure you trade for this guy. Kyron Williams. This dude is consistently putting up numbers. consistently going near or over his projections. Obviously not as much this year because he's got a 10 and a 13 for the first couple weeks, but like he comes in whenever you seem to know him the most. And then Jordan Mason participating in that Cincinnati beatdown. Just that right there could be the thing that padded it to where he could make that comeback whenever Lamar Jackson took the field.
And I mean, Jordan Mason with a good week. Kyron, man, I had him in I can't say this, but I had him in our family league last year. Dude, I know you mentioned the kind of not struggles, but the woes for the first 2 weeks this year. But man, he is a steal, I feel like, for where you can get him. Mm-hmm. I was targeting him. I wanted to target him in this draft, and I think he went up 2 or 3 picks before, and I was literally heartbroken because he is so good. There's not much to say about him. He gets I feel like all the goal line touches, and he's just a powerhouse when it comes to just scoring those goal line touchdowns. I feel like every week I see him get in the end zone. So yeah. he's definitely one of those guys that will win you your league in the shadows.
Yeah, he's also not. Whenever you think of elite running backs, I have one of them, Bijan Robinson. I think I have all of the elite running backs actually. Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. You think of big names. Kyron Williams is never that one that pops out, but he always does good. I talked about James Conner being that guy that always puts up 10 points for you. Kyron Williams is one of those guys that especially as the season gets rolling, he's going to put up 15, 16 points per game for you. And he's a hoss, bro. He's a horse. He's a workhorse.
He is a workhorse.
Enough talk about my game. Let's get to what my opinion is the match of the week. Pardon Me versus Killer Kowalski. The reason why it's match of the week is going into this. Both teams were undefeated. They're the number 1 and the number 2 teams in the league, and only one can remain undefeated. And as you can see, Killer Kowalski put the boot to Pardon Me's behind and decimated him by a good 30-something points. We knew it was going to be that result going into it. There were a couple players left to play, and if Derrick Henry going into the final matchup had a 30-point game, it's a little bit more doable. Obviously, he had that fumble, and it turned into a shootout where people were passing downfield, which was bad for me. Boo. But it was even worse for Pardon Me, who was trying to make the comeback. But between Josh Allen scoring his freaking 32 points and the Vikings defense scoring 42, holy cow, it was already a huge hill to climb for Pardon Me. Even though the Steelers put up 24, I said it in the Facebook group, that's typically going to be the highest scoring defense of the week. Vikings were hold our beverage and scored 42.
It was slaughter.
Yeah.
I mean, oof.
A couple of the people in a matchup like this that you would have hoped would have shown up were Chuba Hubbard, who only got 9.6. He's been pretty consistent this year, so that was unfortunate to see for him. Derrick Henry was the one I mentioned. Obviously, he would have had to have one of those, this is the greatest fantasy match we've seen in a while from him, but it's no surprise we've seen Derrick Henry in the past couple of years drop 38 points here and there. So it would have been a doable comeback, but Justin Jefferson put up okay numbers, Devontae Adams put okay numbers, Jake Ferguson put up okay numbers. James Conner got hurt with a season-ending, was it an ACL tear?
I want to say yes.
So he just had some unfortunate performances and unfortunate luck going into this championship game, and Alex's team did exactly what it's been doing all season and just destroyed walls. Knocked over castles, bro. Zay Flowers, doesn't even matter. He only scored 3.3. Travis Kelce, who was that? Everybody else freaking brought the bombs. And Christian McCaffrey, I'll say it again, probably a lot of people passed on him to choose other players going in that first round. Alex sent me a message and was like, I think Christian McCaffrey's going to have a comeback season. And I was like, I don't know if that's the case, but I hope he does. Oh man, is he having a comeback season?
Yeah, that's why I was skeptical. I mean, I had him 1-1 last year on unfortunately auto draft. I would have taken him anyways at the 1-1 because of the year that he had previously.
Yeah.
And he burnt me, but man, he's come back looking on fire. And this was it was also my match of the week too, just because of the stakes. Both teams 2-0 coming in. We get that clear winner, or we get that clear number 1 in the league. Pardon Me with trying to keep that legacy going.
Defending
champ. A fantastic start for the league. Yeah, I mean, just great start to the league last year, winning and coming in 2-0 to start this year. it's about as good as you can get. So someone had to take him down eventually. And yeah, Alex just put the beat down on him. Scary team. I've had to face him once already. I don't want to have to do it ever again.
It was it was a situation where the unstoppable force ran through the immovable object.
Literally, yes. And I would have thought, 130 is good, and 130 will win you, I feel like, most of your matches. But for 130 to not even like come close, that's how you know.
Deficit, right?
Yeah, you know how your opponent has been cooking. So yeah, definitely the clear number one, especially now with the record. And yeah, man, this team looks scary to go against. Hopefully someone can get to him. But the Vikings defense, man, 42 is just...
It's like they both have really scary teams. I wouldn't want to go against either of them. Like, Pardon Me had a 7-7 record last year when he got into the playoffs and won the whole thing. So if anybody's feeling bad about their team right now, there's still hope. A 7-7 team can come around. And besides, all it takes is one... I'm not going to wish ill will on anybody. I was going to say all it takes is one clutch ACL tear to win a championship for someone else. But Christian McCaffrey had a case of the Madden curse last year. He was on Madden 25, was it? And now on Madden 26. Saquon Barkley is the cover athlete, and he's having a rough start.
Brandon.
No, luckily we've seen it before where the Madden curse kind of got broke, like back in 2022 or something like that. So it could go either way. I'm not going to say that's a real thing. You can't believe in it, but it's real.
I really just... My biggest letdown in this is obviously James getting hurt, which is horrendous, especially because he's, like you have mentioned previously a lot in the past, consistent guy. But my biggest letdown here is Chuba. I mean, he's been so good, and I feel like the Panthers look way better this year, and he's been so good. So unfortunate that he would have his, I think, worst performance of the year in a game when, Pardon Me, really needed him. But it is what it is. I know Michael's going to bounce back and probably be more dominant than ever. So,
yeah, absolutely. Which brings me to this question now that we've wrapped up the recap for the things. Do you, of all these wonderful players we've seen, is there any one or two or even three players that you would mark as the fantasy players of the week? Because it'll help me put together a thumbnail a lot easier. I'm thinking Isaiah Rodgers from the Vikings. He's the one that had either an interception and a forced fumble, or two forced fumbles. But either way, he had two... I'm pretty sure he had both of the defensive touchdowns that kind of just destroyed the momentum or anything that the Bengals possibly hoped for. So he's one I would mention, but I need two more players. Do you have anybody that comes to mind?
My fantasy player of the week, I know that he played a struggling New Orleans team. Jackson Smith-Njigba, man, this guy has been on fire this year. 20.4 in week 1, 19.3 in week 2, and 20.6 in week 3. I know he's played some questionable defenses, Pittsburgh and New Orleans, but he's putting up numbers. He's the number 5 wide receiver right now. Clearly, he is the number 1 receiving threat for that team. Sam Darnold is doing it out there. I mean, even if they don't win games, like this guy is inevitable. He's just watching him play is if you haven't, you should go and just like watch some clips. He's good. Was last year I had him in a separate league and he was kind of iffy. Not as consistent as he's been, but man, for Punishment Inc., this guy is definitely a stud. So he's one of my guys for this week. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, I think definitely. And I know this sounds biased because I played both of those guys, but they both, I mean, if you go back and look at their games, Jahmyr put up crazy numbers, Jackson has put up crazy numbers. And I think it's impressive. Jahmyr is getting it done while kind of still having a split backfield with David Montgomery. So the fact that it's a viable option for both of them, and I mean, not even just in real life, in fantasy, they're both viable options.
Right.
It's you don't see that very often. So, yeah, those two guys are doing it, not for me, but they're doing it just in general. So I had that misfortune of playing them this week, but yeah, those two are studs, definitely studs.
Yeah, 100%. I can definitely agree with that. And it seems like whenever Detroit lost to Green Bay in the first week, they took that personally and then just decided to take it to whoever they were coming against. Everybody coming into the season, Detroit was one of those teams where they lost a couple of their coaches to other teams to go off and be head coaches. And so everybody was like, they're not going to be the same team. And then after they lost to Green Bay, which is the team that I'm supporting because I live up in Wisconsin, everybody was like, see, Green Bay runs the North. But after this past week and seeing how they destroyed Baltimore and how the Cleveland Browns absolutely shut down Green Bay, Detroit still might be the king of this division. And
yeah, they are good, dude.
And their players are proof of that. Like, not only them, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, we all know how he can be. Jared Goff, quarterback that a couple of years ago people would laugh at. Now people aren't laughing.
No.
Ryan Gosling's a gunslinger, bro.
Yeah, he's so just aware. And he has so many weapons, man. I remember, I think it was last year where they had that trick play where he makes it look like he fumbled, and then he just like guns it for like a 20-yard completion or something crazy. It's just crazy what the right coach and right offense can do for a guy.
Right.
Yeah, it's insane.
So before we get a look at the standings, I'm going to put you on the hot spot, just like I'm going to put everybody on the hot spot whenever they're here on the show. If there was one player in fantasy that you could acquire right now, who would it be now that trading talk is on the rise?
Oh my goodness. This is, well, okay. For me personally, oh man, dude, this is tough.
It's Tyrod Taylor, isn't it?
It's, yeah, Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor.
I missed out on the chant last night, but I was chanting it with you guys in solidarity.
In spirit.
I have a hole at running back. I have a hole at wide receiver, like a wide receiver 2 and running back 2. Oh, man. Honestly, it's probably, if I could acquire anyone, it would probably be, oh, man, I don't want to say something and then like have it come back to bite me because I know this is going to get uploaded, man. I'm going to, okay, this is going to sound, it might not sound crazy, but I'm going to go James Cook because he is on a good offense. You know that they're going to be in scoring position most every game. He has the MVP of the league backing him. And he just gets those goal line looks. And if it's not him, it's Josh. And he has been really good in the past. Last season, he was really, really good. This season, he's obviously doing it again, 21 this week. And he's just like one of those guys that I feel like you can always rely on, more so than even a James Conner, I feel like, because as I mentioned, he's got a good offense behind him with a good quarterback, which I'm not saying that Kyler's not good, but just Kyler's Kyler, and Josh Allen is the MVP. So yeah, James Cook, man. Travis, if you're in the market, hey, if you listen to this, let's we can do something.
Come blow on my earlobe. Let's get something going here. There we go. See, you didn't know we were going to be playing Matchmaker today, but I think that's a solid pick. Like a very crucial part of the offense. And if you had watched the Miami game the other day, he was the one that was getting all the big runs, getting all the big looks and everything like that. And I think that's something you could expect all season. I wouldn't doubt if he is a 20-point per game running back. And that's crazy to say out loud because I've always been one who's like, quarterbacks are more important than running back because they get limited amount of touches. And if obviously with Saquon Barkley, if the game gets in a certain direction, but James Cook's one of those dual threats where he's going to get the ball passed to him. He's going to get the ball shoved into his rib cage to run it. He's going to have all those options. And so, yeah, I think that's a very solid choice. All right, well, let's go check the standings, which is going to be an absolute log jam at this point because we have 3 teams at the top. Killer Kowalski with his 3-0 with a still 100% win percentage. LaMarvelous Chase beating me, getting the 2-1 start, rightfully so. Good on you, GG, if you're watching this, James. Pardon me, still the defending champ, still one of the winning records, and then from there, everybody has the same record. 5 of us have the same record. Though not all of this 1 and 2 is created equal. I don't like how I'm directly in the middle because I'm the line that divides the two parties. but I will come back. I will be 2-2 next week. I shouldn't call my shot. That's disrespectful.
Ooh.
But I'm doing it.
Or no, five of us tied for fourth is insane.
Yep. It is. And it's okay because that's going to be broken up a little bit. And with that many people, why wouldn't it be? Because the Cleveland Chubs are taking on the Zan State Fur Assassins in a 1-2-1-2 brawl. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be battling to see who kind of pushes their way away from the pack. Whereas you, the Lou Boy, are versing the defending champ, Pardon Me, in your 4th week matchup. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Hey, the boys are going to rally this week. And we're feeling good.
Boys.
I'm going to give them a pep talk, even though they have no idea who I am. They're gonna rally. Michael's good. He's definitely put it on me in the past. But this week is my week. I don't want to call my shot either, but I will. As
of right now, I don't know if you guys have changed your lineups at all, but you're both of you are projected 124.9. Both of you are.
Ooh, potential game of the week.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a close one in the nitty-gritty. But the question is, will the undefeated juggernaut, Killer Kowalski, remain undefeated as he goes against the Kansas City Kunai with Chain?
Kunai with Chain! What is this? My trap card worked!
As Jaden Daniels is back in the lineup. But will Brandon go with Daniel Jones? Both are viable options in the current climate. And then the final matchup, we were just talking about how good Richard's team is. It's a 4th place in the power rankings versus number 2 in the power rankings. Punishment Inc. versus the Marvelous Chase. And I just want to say, Punishment Inc., all top 3 of your projected scores are quarterbacks. Not cool, man. You need to take away one of those so we can see your players from the menu screen. What is that? But then LaMarvelous Jackson, obviously he beat me last week, so I'm a little bit biased and be like, watch out, Richard. Watch out. He's got momentum. He's got momentum. That matters in fantasy, does it?
Maybe for the players you play, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. There's the thing.
I think it's about if you feel good about yourself, you'll probably win.
I felt great about myself and I lost.
Yeah, I felt really, well, I don't know. The projections kind of do me dirty, man. They'd be like, 44% chance. And I'm like, why? Why 44%?
It's like, hey, this guy's going to get 25 points, right? Gets 2. It's like, dude. So we're wrapping up this recap. That's it for week 3 as we go into week 4. Landon, is there anything else you want to share with the people, the league, whatever?
Yeah. Just happy to be the first guest on here. Enjoyed the chat we had. Good luck to you guys out there if I play you. Good luck. You'll probably lose to me. Just kidding. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to whoever comes on here next. I want to hear your guys' the way your minds work about fantasy. So just looking forward to it.
At that point, I might give a little bit of a spoiler, and I don't know. I haven't fully confirmed it with him yet.
Ooh.
But next week might be, if he wins his match this week, he'll be 4-0. It's Alex Koala, Killer Kowalski.
That would be a very good episode. I'd definitely be chiming in because
we'll pick his brain on his draft and everything. But only time will tell. Good luck to everybody in the league. And for all you vegans out there, eat meat.